Hey there, mamas! Well, now that we've learned how to make a very basic fitted diaper, hopefully you've been practicing, and I figured we probably should make some sort of a cover. So the first one we're going to try today is a basic pull fold-over elastic cover, and this is 1-inch diaper sewing fold-over elastic. It's a little thicker than some of the more craft fold-over elastic you'll find. I have found that they both work equally well. The thinner kind might be more likely to wick, but this isn't the ideal cover design anyway. And the thing about diapers is if the diaper is absorbent enough, you don't really need a great cover. Covers aren't going to hold in a sopping wet diaper. You need to have enough absorbency. So this is just plain old fold-over elastic. We're going to be using a 3-step zigzag stitch. And that is the stitch, on mine it's D, but that is the one that looks like a zigzag with dashes inside it. That will be a really good stretch stitch to hold the elastic in place. That's what you're going to use for most fold-over elastic. For the masks, for the doll diapers, it's the same stitch, but we're using a bigger elastic, so I'm going to use a wider stitch, and I'm going to be pulling it a little tighter through the legs. Like most of my elastics, I don't pre-measure. I just have a roll, and then I go from there. If you do run out, you can always patch it. It doesn't have to look pretty. This is just a basic utilitarian cover. I've got my template here. This is my one size with the snap-down rise fold-over elastic diaper. I'll put the link in the description. I have prepared it with a second layer behind the snaps here, just the top, and a little bit to reinforce the wings as well. I have used washable glue stick, which is what I use a lot of times when I'm prepping pull, to hold on the wings. And because we're not doing appliques, because I'm doing snaps, I have smaller backings. But if you're going to be doing appliques or Velcro, then you might want a little bit longer so that you have your wash tab, your laundry tab. This is really pretty basic. It's really fast start to finish. We're just going to start at one corner. We're going to work our way to about here. Then we're going to pull tight through the stretchy part of the leg. Then go slow again and not pull. Just kind of shape it around the wings. And then pull it across the back. And back to the other side. We're going to leave the front undone. I do that part separately. I know some people round the front, but I don't. I sort of pre-crease it and then fold it around. I try to hold it even at the back and front. It's not going to be being pulled tight at the beginning, so you can just get a good feel for it. I like to extend beyond my front so I can trim it straight when I first sew it down and when I finish. When I sew, I hug the inner edge of the fold-over elastic a little bit. I don't go toward the outer edge, but I don't want to go over it. I just hug against it. And now that you're at this more straight edge part through the leg, you're going to start giving it a little bit of a tug. You want to make sure that your needle is sunk. And you want to hold it a little bit snug at first, and then you're going to hold in back of and in front of the needle so that it doesn't pull on the needle itself. And then once you've got it started, then you can pull a little bit harder. And with practice, you'll get a really good feel for how much you can pull it without causing any problems. You might want to practice on a woven first before you use your pull, just in case you don't have that much pull. I have this cheap old pull, so I'm not worried about it. And then once you've gotten up to the top of that straightaway part, you're going to go back to being relaxed again and just working it around that corner. And just like with my back elastics on my regular diapers, I go straight until I hit the elastic part below it, so when it's straight up from the pucker is when I start pulling again on the back. Then at this point, I clean up my edge here, make it flat. And you can see how it is stretched across the back, not stretched on the side, but it does pull in a little bit. That's not a big deal. That's just from shaping it. It won't matter and it will relax. So you've got that nice stretch there. Then you've got your stretch through your legs to hold nice shape. It's not starting to stretch until just at the bottom row of snaps here. And now we're going to do a straight piece across the top. And what I do at this point to finish off the edges is I do a tight regular zigzag stitch. Just up and down on the edge. You can also just use some fray stop and do any kind of stitch you want there. It's not a stretchy part of the diaper, so it doesn't really matter. But that's just what I like to do. And that's more of just a fray stop measure. That's what that looks like. I'm sure you can find a prettier end that you want to do. But for functionality, this works great. And there's your ends. Now the last thing for this version, since this is the snapping version, I'm going to do is just put my wing snaps on the back. So there's the inside. Nice wipeable inside, easy to rinse off. You can use the same cover with multiple fitteds, so you could probably do 4 fitteds for every cover. If you're doing pre-folds and you're getting any mess on the outside, then obviously you'd change your cover too. But you don't usually need nearly as many covers as diapers. So like if you had, 4 covers for every 12 diapers on average, something like that's a good number. This is a good cover for about 10 to 35 pounds, 10 to 30 pounds, depending on what you're wearing it over. You can use it with just a tri-folded pre-fold. You could use it with a fitted. Really anything. You could just shove a couple inserts in there as long as they're the kind that can be against the baby's skin. You could do some folded up t-shirts. As long as you have a good cover, you can use pretty much any kind of a absorbent diaper. So if you had like a newborn size fitted, you could still have a bulky cover. It doesn't matter if the cover's, quite big, as long as the diaper's a good fit. It wouldn't work as well with like a tri-folded pre-fold, but it would work well with even a tiny, tiny cover. So if you wanted to make a fitted stash for a newborn, you could still use teeny tiny covers as soon as their umbilical cord stump comes off. Little tiny leg holes. It'll all just pucker up. So even a really, really tiny baby will still fit into this cover. You just have to make sure, it'll just be up high on them. It'll be like up to their nipples rather than to their belly button, but that doesn't matter for a cover. There's going to be small enough leg holes if you pull your fold over elastic tight enough. So there's the small setting for the fold over elastic cover. And then if you go all the way up to the full rise, there's a mid rise too. And if you go all the way up to the full rise, and even if you have a chunky leg baby, the fold over elastic is very soft on the legs. It shouldn't be too tight. This will pull up to make quite a large leg opening. And fairly good coverage. It won't fit an older child though. It's not a good special needs diaper. But it'll fit almost every size of a typical baby and toddler through potty training. So there's your basic fold over elastic cover. Happy sewing!